So we lost two of our members this year. We lost Penelope, who passed away just 2 weeks shy of her 105th birthday. Absolutely amazing. I did put a little pamphlet on your table so that you can... Chris, would you like to say a few words? Anybody from the family?
Penelope was the baby of the family. She was one of 4 children. When she was an infant, her father went to Australia. When he came back when she was a teenager, he died at the dock in Panigyri. She never got to meet him. That was her greatest regret in life, that she never saw or knew her father. When my father married my mother, he promised my yaya that they would stay in Kythera. Unfortunately, his business partners wanted him back. So he left Kythera, and my mother and I followed on the boat. 2 weeks on the boat, my mother was seasick, and I cried. She wore a white suit when she landed in New York, and they took a train to Pittsburgh. By the time she got to Pittsburgh, her suit was black. She said, "What did I know?" She ended up in one hot room in an attic after being in lovely Kythera with a crying baby. She had 4 children under 5 years old. Number 2, the second child, named after her mother, died when she was an infant. My mother was ahead of her time. She went to night school, she bought a car, she learned to drive. She made a decision to come to California, even though my father didn't want to. She said, "We're going, pack up the house, sell the house." She was widowed in 1957. After my dad died, she worked in the cannery. She followed the stock market. She followed interest. Every time the bank would change interest, she would have us sign cards. She would never tell us why. Just sign the card. We realized later, when the interest changed, she changed banks. She loved gardening, and there was never a stepladder that she didn't love. She had 5 stepladders at one point. She was always on the stepladder or on the roof, trimming trees. She used to say, "Don't put all your eggs in one basket." That's why when she went to the bank, she said, "You always talk to the manager of the bank so they know who you are." Her famous words are, "The manager da Castro, mi mascare is Brazili," and that's it. She lived a long, long life, but she was ready to go home.
The Orthodox in Berkeley, and I used to teach Greek dance lessons. He was a wonderful guy. And also, I wanted to give condolences to the Caminos family for the loss of Bessie Caminos, who was the sister of Marie Caminos, and she passed away a few weeks ago, and Sophie. So, okay, Kythera news. So this year we had quite a few people that went to Kythera. We had the Lind family, and they were lucky enough to have 2 of their kids with them and their families. And then my niece Julie went, and there they are by Myrtidiotissa and Lemonas. And they are cousins with the Linds, and so they actually spent more time together, I think, in Kythera than they actually do when they're here, because they don't live close by. So they had a great time. And everybody knows Tyke and Teddy Zest. They weren't able to be here today, but this is their son, Ethan. And they went to Kythera for the first time, and I kind of tried to hook them up with people. And over on the left over here, we've got them standing in front of the Christoforianica sign, which is where their family was from. Yay! And then I introduced them to George Poulos, who had a huge party at his house, and they got to go to that. And down here he's with James Prinez, who makes the movies, and they're at the Potamos Market on Sunday, and this is our cousin Adamandia, who works at the bakery. So they got to be hooked up with some people, which was fun. And last year our scholarship recipient was Julia Moore, and this is her family back here. I was surprised to see them here, and I was really excited. She posted this picture on Facebook, and I asked her if I could use it. she had asked this man to help them find her grandfather's house. And I go, is that Vasily? And she goes, yeah, that's Vasily's. Well, she didn't know it, but Vasily is a Kythera film star. He starred in James Cornelius' movie Kythera Mon Amour. If you haven't seen it, you need to see it. And he's also in the sequel called An Island Named Desire that's coming out later this year. So, in Kythera this year, I don't know, if you went a little bit later in July, you might have seen this monument in front of the, in the airport. This is, the airport was renamed in 2014. The Kythera, it was renamed the Alexandros Aristotelos Onassis Airport for his contribution to the Kythera airport construction and aviation in general. So they had a big to-do and an unveiling of this monument. In Sydney, they have the Kytherian Genealogy Club. And in particular, there's one gal named Amalia Samios, and she has been translating the Kytherian records into English. And so, she has translated birth certificates, death certificates, marriage certificates. She's used the censuses. She's used sources that not only the sources that are available on Kythera from the churches and the books and everything else, but she has gone out and found other sources that they don't even have available on the island. So far she's translated over 66,000. Last year I was looking at my slide and I think I said last year she had about 300 photos. Now an example anyway. So this is the Caminos family. And as you can see at the very top, well, I can't really read it too well, but at the very top is Nicholas Caminos, who was the father of the Caminos brothers who owned the Caminos Hotel. And his first daughter was Yanula, and Yanula married Athanasios Mavromatis. And it just turns out that his mother's name was Theodorula Klenzos, which our family is Klenzos. And it turns out that Joanne and I are seventh cousins. Go-to is supposed to be in Brisbane in November, and Tom and I have plans to go, but there's a pretty good chance it's going to be canceled. We're probably going to still go to Australia though, but that was kind of a disappointment. I haven't heard for sure yet, but it may be gone. Okay, there is another project. This is just an example of what the Australians were doing, and basically it is to send Kytherian youth to Kythera for a period of time during the summertime. And they would live with a family and have an experience over there. And Rich has been working on this, and we're really not ready to move ahead yet, but this is something that's kind of in the works.
So there are two different groups in Australia working with us, and we just have to figure out which one. I suppose the most important thing, watching time, is that the boards have a chance, and anyone else who's here, to contact me for information and questions. Our Australian people, and I think we're mutually working together, I don't think we just piggybacked on theirs, is to see if we're going to go this year or not. If we don't, it'll probably be dead at the project. And there have been so many wonderful comments from the youth that have come. We think we have things like the liability worked out. We have things regarding the families. We have 2 people already lined up. We are in agreement on just about everything, I think. And you brought up, or someone brought up the dates. And so George Poulos and I figured out that we can go from the 7th through the 21st of July and all be together. And then James has been involved also. Yeah, it's a break that we have.
Important, big project, and we have Ted Leonis to thank for that, because he's the one that brought it to us. The AHEPA sends medical supplies to Greece. And what happens is, the IOCC brings the supplies together, and the AHEPA pays for the containers to be shipped over. So Ted approached them and said, well, if we raise the money to send the container, could we send a container to Kythera? And they said, yes, we can do that. So we needed to raise approximately $20,000 to do that, which is a lot of money, but we are already on the way, okay? So as a Kytherian society, we decided to donate $1,000. Ted got the Sacramento AHEPA to donate $1,000. The Kytherian Association of Australia in Sydney said they would give us $7,000. Last year, we had a very generous donation from one of our members of $5,000. There's already been about $1,500 collected from other individuals, so we have about $4,500 that are still needed. So I'm going to be setting up a GoFundMe account online so people can donate online. It would be a tax-deductible donation.
So you'll see up here some of our prior recipients. So this scholarship is created for students of Kytherian descent in honor of our beloved past president, Anastasia Konomoskanda, excuse me. She was the longtime president of the Kytherian Society and member of the Modern Greek Studies Foundation. Her dedication and love for the Greek heritage inspired many Greek Americans to study the rich history of the modern world. The Kytherian Society of California believes that education embodies the spirit of all Kytherians, and the scholarship stands as a legacy to all members. And I want to say thank you very much to all the people who have donated over the years. We've raised $11,500, and thank you for your generosity. Much everyone who's donated to that. Vicky's put up all the names here, and that helps us continue this legacy. We're very, very grateful for your generosity. And is Rachel Larson. Woohoo! Let's give a round of applause for Rachel. Rachel's receiving the maximum reward of $1,500. She has been part of our Kytherian luncheons for many, many years, helping our beloved John Carbunas, of blessed memory, alongside with his sister during the raffle. My favorite part of her essay, and I just have to read this to you guys. I know you can read yourselves, but I love this part. I bet you're wondering what I'm going to read, right, Rachel? This is the part I'm going to read because I love it. Even though I have never met my papu, I felt like I always had a special connection to him through Theo John. Someday I hope to strengthen that connection even more and go to Kythera myself, although in a way, I've already been there. 2 months before my grandfather died, he booked a family trip with him to the island, and my mom at the time was pregnant with me. There has always been a joke that I've already been to Kythera, but since I am older, I really want to go there and see it for myself. Please join me in welcoming Rachel to receive her award. I've got the mic, Rachel. And again, I direct your attention to the center of the tables. His essay is there. And let me say a few words about Merrick. Merrick is also receiving the maximum award of $1,500. We're very proud of you, Merrick. You read the essay that one of his uncles, Nick Simos, was the only child to return to Kythera, and he donated the main water system for the monastery Panigyri Myrtidiotissa. In 2015, my mother, Marion, and my sister Megan were able to finally visit Kythera and meet our relatives that are still living there in person. I have not been able to visit yet, but it remains a dream of mine one day to visit this place from which part of my family originated. While my great-grandfather and his siblings moved to a faraway country for a better life and to ultimately start their families, the relatives that stayed behind in Kythera maintained family traditions that had been established long ago, traditions and memories that continue to be held by our family to this day. I'd like to welcome you to the podium. Please join me in congratulating Merrick for winning the $1,500.
Thank you to the committee for even considering me, obviously, for the award. I'd like to just thank my parents and sister for their continued support. And no one else is from my church is here, but they're always just very supportive of me, especially specifically Harry Chaplanis and the Lane Door that they couldn't make it. But yeah, just thank you again.
Kytherian, somebody that was not born on the island, but has contributed to our success and supported our island's success. So this year, that recipient is Andrew Salinas. So, Ms. Salinas and her family has been very...
You know, it's been nice talking. Been working with Elaine and Vicky for quite a while. They're wonderful to work with. You know, I'm not a computer expert, but They did a great job putting this thing together. I want to thank you. But when Elaine says honorary Kytherian, I feel I've been an honorary Kytherian from the time I was a little boy. I grew up with the Alfier family. My Uncle Johnny Caritas, who was McClimon's student body president, was a classmate of Angie Alfier and Fred Doss. They went to high school together. And when my brother died in 1930, my Aunt Helen Caminas and George Caminas, Uncle George, kind of adopted me because it really shook my mother up pretty bad. And I would spend every summer and every holiday in Salinas. And we couldn't make holidays in Salinas. My Aunt Helen would take her old big Curacao 7-passenger when she loaded up with her family and come up to Oakland. So I spent a lot of time with the Caminas, and I feel I'm part of the Kytherian family, and I hope you'll accept me. And when I was in Salinas, I also met the extended Caminas family, the Mike Caminas and Harry Caminas family. And I became very, very close friends with Nick, Ted, and Tony especially. And my wife would always say, what happened to you? I said, we have two beautiful Caminas girls, Marionga and Sophia. I said, they were like my sisters, you know. And anyway, to get back, I was very, very blessed to be around the Caminas family. We'll go here. This is the Congressional Gold Medal that was given to us in March. It's given to our outfit. And of the 5 ethnic groups I mentioned, unfortunately, I was the only operational, only what we call OG, operational group guy there. And that's the replica. What I'm showing is the replica, and the gold medal is the one that's going to go to the Smithsonian. Only 136 of them were given out since George Washington received the first one. I'm sorry. I have some great stories, but we have to rush it. But I thank you again. I want to thank Vicki and Elaine for inviting me here and meeting so many. I don't know, it's not old friends. I meet children of my old friends. Like I met the old Alfier son. I used to play basketball with them, and I scored all the Caminas and the Alfier. Thank you very much for inviting me.